Have you ever noticed how happiness always seems to be somewhere else, somewhere in the future, just beyond your reach? Perhaps you've told yourself, when I finally earn more money, I'll be happy. When I achieve that goal, I'll feel fulfilled. When I find the right relationship, everything will fall into place. And for a moment, it seems believable. The future appears to contain the answer to everything that troubles you today. But then something strange happens. You achieve the goal. You earn the money. You receive the promotion. You buy the house. You gain the recognition. And yet, after the excitement fades, something unexpected remains. The same restlessness, the same dissatisfaction, the same quiet feeling that something is still missing. For many people, this realization is deeply unsettling because they have spent years believing that happiness was waiting for them at the finish line, only to discover that the finish line keeps moving. Every time they get closer, it shifts further away. This is what philosophers have called the happiness trap. The belief that happiness exists somewhere outside ourselves and can finally be obtained if we acquire enough success, possessions, pleasure, or approval. Today, this belief is everywhere. Modern culture encourages us to constantly seek more money, more productivity, more status, more experiences, more entertainment, more validation. We are surrounded by messages telling us that fulfillment is just one purchase, one achievement, or one breakthrough away. Entire industries are built upon this promise, and yet anxiety, depression, loneliness, and dissatisfaction continue to rise. Why? Because the problem isn't that people are failing to achieve enough. The problem is that they're chasing something that cannot be captured in the way they've been taught. More than 2,000 years ago, a group of philosophers recognized this problem with remarkable clarity. They saw human beings exhausting themselves in pursuit of things that could never provide lasting peace, and they offered an alternative, a radically different way of understanding happiness, one that remains surprisingly relevant today. These philosophers were the Stoics, and what they understood about happiness may change the way you think about your entire life. To understand the Stoic perspective, we must first understand something uncomfortable. Most people spend their lives trying to control things that were never theirs to control. Think about it. We want people to like us. We want our plans to succeed. We want our future to unfold exactly as we imagined. We want certainty. We want security. We want guarantees. But reality rarely cooperates. People disappoint us. Plans fail. Opportunities disappear. Unexpected problems emerge. Life continues to remind us that much of what happens is beyond our command. Yet instead of accepting this fact, we resist it. And resistance creates suffering. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm and demanding that the wind stop blowing. No matter how passionately you make your demand, the storm remains indifferent. The more you fight against reality, the more exhausted you become. The Stoics believe that much of human misery comes from doing exactly this, fighting reality. Demanding certainty in an uncertain world, demanding control where none exists, demanding permanence from things that are temporary. According to Stoic philosophy, the solution begins with a simple distinction, a distinction so powerful that it became the foundation of their entire worldview. The Stoics divided life into two categories: things that are within our control, and things that are not. At first glance, this may seem obvious, but its implications are profound. What is within your control? Your choices, your actions, your judgments, your values, your character. What is outside your control? Your reputation, other people's opinions, economic conditions, political events, your past, your future, and ultimately, even your own lifespan. This realization can feel unsettling because it reveals how little we truly control. Yet paradoxically, it is also liberating because it tells us where to focus our energy. Most people spend their lives obsessing over outcomes. The Stoics focused on responses. Most people measure success by results. The Stoics measured success by character. Most people ask, "What can I get from life?" The Stoics asked, "How should I respond to life?" This shift changes everything. Imagine two individuals facing the same setback. Both lose their jobs unexpectedly. The first person views the event as a catastrophe. Their identity collapses. Their self-worth disappears. They become consumed by fear and resentment. The second person experiences disappointment as well. But they understand something different. They recognize that losing the job was outside their control. What remains within their control is how they respond, their attitude, their effort, their resilience. The external situation may be identical, but the internal experience is completely different. This is why Stoicism is not about controlling the world. It is about mastering yourself. And this brings us to one of the most misunderstood ideas in Stoic philosophy, a concept known as apatheia. Today, the word apathy usually means indifference, a lack of caring, a lack of emotion. But the Stoics meant something entirely different. To them, apatheia was freedom from destructive emotional domination. It did not mean becoming cold, it meant becoming clear. The Stoic does not eliminate emotions. The Stoic learns not to become enslaved by them. Consider anger. Most people experience anger and immediately become controlled by it. Their words become reckless. Their judgment becomes distorted. Their actions become impulsive. For the Stoics, true strength was not the absence of anger. It was the ability to experience anger without surrendering to it. The same applies to fear, envy, jealousy, greed. These emotions are not inherently evil. The problem occurs when they take control of our decisions, when emotions become masters rather than messengers. The Stoics believe that wisdom begins when we learn to observe our emotions rather than obey them blindly. This creates a kind of inner freedom, a freedom that cannot be purchased, a freedom that cannot be taken away by circumstances, a freedom that comes from self-mastery. And perhaps this is what many people are truly searching for when they chase happiness. Not pleasure, not excitement, not constant positivity, but freedom. Freedom from anxiety, freedom from insecurity, freedom from the endless need for more. Yet the Stoics did not stop there. They asked a deeper question. If happiness is not found in external achievements, then what is it? What does a truly flourishing life look like? Their answer was a concept called Eudaimonia. And understanding this idea may be the key to escaping the happiness trap altogether. The Stoics believed that true happiness was not a feeling. It was a way of being, a way of living. The Greeks called it Eudaimonia. The word is often translated as happiness, but that translation can be misleading. Eudaimonia is closer to human flourishing. It is the state of becoming the best version of yourself. Not because life is easy, not because everything goes your way, but because your character remains strong regardless of circumstances. This idea challenges much of what modern culture teaches. Today, happiness is often treated like an emotional high, a temporary state of pleasure, something to be experienced, something to be consumed, something to be chased. But the Stoics saw happiness differently. Imagine two trees. One grows in perfect conditions. The weather is always favorable. The soil is rich. The environment is predictable. The other tree grows on a rocky hillside. It faces storms, droughts, harsh winds, uncertainty. Years later, which tree develops stronger roots? Which tree becomes more resilient? Which tree is better prepared to survive difficult seasons? The Stoics believe human beings develop in much the same way. A meaningful life is not built through comfort. It is built through character, and character is forged through challenge. This is why many people feel empty even after achieving success. Because success and flourishing are not the same thing. Someone can accumulate wealth and still be miserable. Someone can become famous and still feel lost. Someone can receive admiration from millions and still struggle with inner peace. External achievement cannot solve an internal problem. The Stoics understood this long before the age of social media, long before advertising, long before modern consumer culture. They knew that the human mind has a dangerous habit. The moment it gets what it wants, it quickly wants something else, a new goal, a bigger reward, a higher status, a greater achievement. The cycle never ends. This is why chasing happiness often leads to unhappiness, because the chase itself creates the belief that fulfillment exists somewhere else, always in the future, never in the present. And while you're focused on reaching the next destination, you miss the life unfolding right in front of you. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. Despite being one of the most powerful men in the world, he repeatedly reminded himself of a simple truth. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Think about that. A Roman emperor, a man who commanded armies, governed an empire, possessed enormous wealth, still concluded that the most important form of power was self-mastery, not political power, not financial power, not social influence, the ability to govern one's own mind. Because without that ability, external success becomes fragile. You become dependent on circumstances remaining favorable, and circumstances never remain favorable forever. This realization leads us to another important Stoic concept, ataraxia, a state of inner tranquility, deep calm, mental stillness. Not because life becomes perfect, but because your peace no longer depends on perfection. Most people believe peace comes after problems disappear. The Stoics believed peace comes when you stop demanding that problems disappear. There is a profound difference. One approach waits for life to become easy. The other learns how to remain steady even when life is difficult. And that distinction changes everything. Imagine standing beside the ocean. The surface waves are constantly moving. Some are small, some are enormous. Some arrive without warning. If your emotional stability depends on controlling every wave, you will spend your entire life exhausted. But if you learn to become like the deep ocean beneath the surface, something remarkable happens. The waves continue, the storms continue, yet a deeper stillness remains untouched. This is ataraxia, not the absence of chaos, the presence of stability within chaos. And perhaps this is exactly what so many people are missing today. We live in a world designed to capture attention, notifications, breaking news, social media, advertisements, algorithms competing for every second of our focus. The result is constant mental stimulation, constant comparison, constant desire. We are encouraged to measure our lives against carefully edited images of other people's successes, to compare our behind-the-scenes struggles with someone else's highlight reel, And naturally, this creates dissatisfaction. No matter how much we achieve, there is always someone who appears to have more money, more beauty, more success, more recognition. The comparison never ends. The Stoics would likely see this as one of the greatest traps of modern life, because comparison shifts attention away from what we can control and places it onto what we cannot: other people's achievements, other people's opinions, other people's lives. The more attention we invest there, the more powerless we feel. But the Stoic response is refreshingly simple. Return to yourself. Return to your own character. Return to your own actions. Return to what is within your control, every day, again and again. This does not happen overnight. Stoicism is not a quick fix. It is a practice, a discipline, a way of training the mind. The same way physical exercise strengthens the body, Stoic reflection strengthens the character. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to practice. Someone insults you. Can you remain composed? A plan fails. Can you adapt without bitterness? A setback occurs. Can you respond with courage rather than panic? These moments become training grounds, not obstacles, not interruptions, the training itself. And over time, something extraordinary begins to happen. The things that once disturbed you lose their power. The situations that once created anxiety become manageable. The opinions that once controlled your behavior become less important. You become harder to shake, not because life becomes easier, because you become stronger. This is what the Stoics knew, and it is what many people still struggle to understand today. Happiness is not something you find, it is something you cultivate, not through endless consumption, not through constant achievement, not through chasing every desire that appears in your mind, but through wisdom, discipline, self-mastery, acceptance. The happiness trap convinces us that fulfillment exists somewhere beyond the horizon. The Stoics pointed in a different direction, inward, toward character, toward virtue, toward the mind itself. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson they left behind. You do not need to control the world to live well. You do not need perfect circumstances. You do not need unlimited success. You only need to master what has always belonged to you: your thoughts, your choices, your response. Because in the end, happiness was never waiting at the finish line. It was hidden within the way you walked the path all along. And once you understand that truth, the chase finally ends. Not because you've obtained everything you wanted, but because you've discovered that what you were searching for was never outside of you in the first place. It was within you, waiting to be cultivated, waiting to be practiced, waiting to be lived. And that is what the Stoics knew more than 2,000 years ago, a truth that remains just as powerful today.